What up, what up, what up? Coach Mike coming at you with another video, another message for today. Today's message is about waging war in life and assembling your support team. So, it's important to understand that in life, a lot of times it could be put as waging war against things. Now, in war, I like the analogy where it's not always about winning battles, right? You're not going to win everything and conquer everything. It's about sticking through it and having the longevity through the trials and through the tribulations and all the strife that you go through in battle to get to the eventual end point, which is winning the war. So, just a couple examples. There's four areas that are really important to master in life. There's health, wealth, love, which can be relationships or just a social life, and then happiness. So, like, when you're waging war against, for example, health, this may be a weird way to put it, but we are at war with the decay of our bodies. And I know that may be a weird way to put it, but to be honest, if we don't do anything, let me put it this way, you can't just get health by default, right? You have to work at it. You have to wage war against your body and against your habits and against your health and exercise and be consistent. So if you don't do anything, we all know where you end up. You end up not in a good place, not feeling great, not in a place where you have energy and vitality and physical strength and endurance and resilience in your life. And the same thing goes for, spirituality. If you don't fight for your spiritual growth, automatically you're decaying, right? Automatically it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And the truth of the matter is, once you stick to waging war and taking positive steps, it's not always going to feel like a big battle, but sometimes it might certainly feel like that. A lot of times, though, after a certain point in time, you get strong enough, and those little things don't set you back anymore. I remember it was just a few days ago where I woke up late, and I was starting to get bummed out about the fact, I don't know if I'm going to get my workout in. I don't have enough time to take my pre-workout and let it kick in and read and play guitar and, practice other things, blah, blah, blah. But I said, nope, stop all that. What I'm going to do is skip the pre-workout, skip all that stuff. I prayed about it first. I put God first. He guided me to just jump into the workout, do a 30-minute workout, and boom, I did it, and that felt great. And I didn't let the negativity build up, like my internal thoughts. A lot of times, we have a battlefield in our own mind, and I've said this, I'm reading this book, The Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. It's about waging war against your own inner negative self. It all starts with you up here. If you wage war with your negative thoughts and replace them, battle them with positive thoughts, eventually if you put enough positive thoughts in there, you're not even going to have room for negative thoughts. So waging war and going through battle, again, is not always about being in this hard place where it's tough and you're fighting. A lot of times, if you fill yourself up with enough positive strength, the battle may be easy, right? And the same thing goes with finances, right? There's four levels of finances. Let me pull this up. There's scarcity, there's financial independence, which a lot of us are fighting scarcity, and I think a lot of us can get to financial independence. I think anybody can. Prosperity, and then wealth and impact. This is a Bill Gates level where not only does he have wealth, but he is contributing back. He's got more than enough to contribute to charity, etc., etc. A lot of us may not get to that point, but we can all at least get to financial independence if we put our mind to it. We all want prosperity, and eventually we all want to contribute. So, with financial independence, I believe that also means being able to, give 10% back and I mean, it just fills up your spirit, and also it gives you a sense of contributing to something bigger than yourself. So when you wage war against your finances, you're just finding a way to get past a certain level so you can get to the next level. And what I want to talk about with allies is, oh, what's this quote? I think you guys are gonna like this one. Um, this is somewhat true, especially when it comes to finances. Not entirely true when it comes to the entirety of your life, but try to think about it this way. The outcome of your life is determined by other people. So other people are important, right? And whether you believe this or not, to a certain degree, what you have to recognize is, like, I mean, we're all like working for somebody or working for ourselves, and if we're working for ourselves, the way we're getting income is other people. So it's really important to have that social aspect. I've heard this said before, is the social part of those four pillars: health, wealth, love, happiness. Love can be relationships or just the social life, right? Social life is so important to master, and if you're not good at that, you're going to have to wage war against your own, like insecurities or your own inability to kind of be like outgoing, and it's so important to have allies in life. So when you have allies, like people say with marriage, opposites attract. And I think the reason why they say that is because you want somebody who is strong in your weak areas and possibly weak in your strong areas. Like, you guys complement each other. You don't necessarily want somebody who's exactly the same, and maybe you do, maybe that works out. But I've heard it put this way, like, if you have two people waging war, like in a trench, right? And they're on the same side, but they both need the spotlight, and they never actually talk about and agree on who's going to have the spotlight in the battle. They may turn on each other and start firing. We don't want that, right? You want somebody who has, who compliments you and who's loyal. And Warren Buffett said he has 3 things that he looks for when it comes to choosing who he wages war with and who he wants to be in the trenches with. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, Warren Buffett. He says he looks for energy, intelligence, and integrity. Right? You don't want just energy and intelligence if you don't have integrity. I mean, that's going to backfire. You don't want to be like betrayed. So, Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, they talk about this, interview process of, you really need to experience somebody in all seasons to really know them and understand them and see how they react to different things. And so also that's like just for like an interview process if you're going to be working with somebody long term, if you're looking for a business partner, but also it can be applied to just your own growth. Like, I've heard so many times, make war with a multitude of counselors, right? What this means is mentors. So when you're looking for your own personal growth, you don't want to just grow on your own and depend on your own learning experiences. You want to wage war with a multitude of counselors. And what this means is allies. You want to, even if you don't have a personal relationship with them, you can certainly feel that way if you're going in and diving into their work and studying that person, studying their mistakes, studying the principles they follow to reach success. You want to have allies with people who are already where you want to be, And so when you're going through battle, you don't just want to be on your own, right? You want to have allies, and you want to wage war in the important areas in life, right? Health, wealth, love, and happiness. So for your health, again, just to recap, we are all fighting against the decay of our own bodies. I know that may be a weird way to put it, but honestly, if we don't do anything, if we're lazy, then our bodies are going to decay and become unhealthy. Same thing with wealth. If we don't wage war against health, again, it's not always about winning battles. And I know a lot of us have experienced scarcity in our lives. I've been in situations where I got rejected at the grocery store. Like, that happened once where I hit rock bottom and I was like maxed out, entirely, and I didn't have enough, money for groceries, but I never went back there, and I found a way to force myself to not ever end up back there again. Of course, I made sacrifices. Part of that was giving up alcohol. But now I'm building myself back up, and I'm waging war with my finances in a healthy way. I'm focusing on joy in the process. This isn't always about like intensity, waging war intensity. This is about finding joy in the process, but understanding and respecting the fact that if you don't fight for what you want, I've heard Les Brown say this, life is a fight for territory. As soon as you stop fighting for what you do want, what you don't want automatically takes over. And this is so true with what I'm talking about. I just thought of that quote. But so like spirituality, you gotta start building up your spiritual strength. Wage war with a multitude of verses in God's word, and if you have that inside of you, I mean, you're just going to be full of life. When the devil comes against you, you know, you're not always going to have to wage war with the devil. If you know God's word, you can just shoo him away. Like, hey, I know the truth, you know. So with social life and your love life, for social, for example, like, honestly, I've struggled with this. I've had to change my friends, you know, and you know, all my old friends, I still consider them really tight. I have their back. I love them to death. You know, if they hit me up, like, you know, I've got their back. But I don't, like, go out of my way to, how can I put this? Like, you just assemble your team of people, your closest friends, your closest allies, like you're doing the NFL draft, right? Like you're assembling the dream team, okay? You know? So I used to have a lot of negativity in my life just because of the people who I chose to hang around. You know, and this was back when I was maybe like even 15, 16. You know, I was just hanging out with the wrong people. And I had a couple high quality friends in that group, but a lot of people in that group weren't really my friends, I found out. And that's not necessarily their fault. You know, I wanted to be part of a clique, and so that was one of the reasons why I developed anxiety, is because I was in places that I didn't really want to be in, but I wanted to have that, you know, sense of community and security. But I was doing the things that I didn't really want to do. I was doing things that I knew weren't really in my heart, and I knew that I could do better. So it's social life, again, love life. You know, wage war against your love life in a healthy way, in a happy way. But if you're struggling in that area, study. Like E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher says, if you say that you can't write, that's not true. It's probably because you've never written before, or studied how to write, or practiced. Like, I used to say, oh, I just can't play guitar, etc., etc. But you know what I'm doing now? Like, I face the truth, and it's like, well, I've never studied, I've never practiced. So I'm studying, and I'm practicing guitar little by little each day, and honestly, I'm already feeling like I'm getting a little bit better, and I've maybe been doing that for a week now, you know, and all together maybe spent 3 hours, you know, 30 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day here, 10 minutes twice a day, you know, and then, so health, wealth, love, and happiness, right? And I think the most important thing here, where happiness comes from, is spirituality and a sense of contribution. You can have, you know, a sense of like security, but if you're not giving back to the world and sharing your gifts that God's given you and improving somebody else's life and giving somebody else the feelings of joy, love, happiness throughout the day, I mean, that's what's really going to fill you up. You can be happy, but so 2 things with happiness, I believe: spirituality and contribution. Focus on those 2 areas. That's my message for today, guys. Understand, if you don't fight for what you do want, in most cases, what you don't want automatically takes over. So go after what you want in life. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this message, and I hope it adds value into your life. I love you. God bless. Peace.